Welcome to Harry Potter and the Anxious Millennials, a show where we delve week by week into each chapter of the Harry Potter series.
Bing 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 bing.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
There's this guy I follow on TikTok and he goes, hello.
Hello.
That's how he always starts his TikTok. Hello.
They always say, hiya. English
Who
people.
is they?
Just like English
Oh.
people. Hiya.
Hiya.
Yeah. So cute. Hiya.
Arri, this week we read chapter 22 called The Unexpected Task. What happens in this chapter?
Harry and Ron are very overwhelmed by the fact that they have to find dates to the ball.
Great.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's really anything else of importance.
No.
Yeah.
I think we can finally have the Cho Chang conversation in this chapter.
Okay. Yep. I always feel like we don't get to know Cho that well until book 5.
Until book 5.
But then the way we get to know her, I don't like that either. That she's just like it's almost like the way that it makes her sound, the way the narration makes her sound, that she's just like kind of a mess. And I'm like, this girl has experienced a very traumatic event in her life. No wonder she's a mess. Trauma. So
Cho Chauma.
No, boot. Boot. So the chapter begins with Minnie scolding Ron and Harry because they're not paying attention in class because they're friends again. Can you imagine? Yeah. I bet Minerva was like, I wish these two had never made up, disrupting my classroom. She was like, please stop being friends. No, I'm just kidding. What is a haddock? I purposefully did not look this up because I was curious if you knew.
It's a fish.
A haddock? A tuna?
Yeah. It's like
a
haddock. I assumed it was like a sardine. But I guess it looks
small?
bigger. It's bigger, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's a sustainable fish. It is a member of the cod family with mild flavor, firm flesh, and moist texture.
I'm surprised that's not one of the fish on Animal Crossing. A haddock.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I've never caught one.
I think they're found off the coast of Scotland, though. I could be making
Scotland.
that up. I could be making that up. I could be thinking of haggis, which is actually what I'm thinking of now that I think about it.
All right, laddie. She's gonna keep doing this.
Good.
A haddock. Minerva announces the Yule Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Open to 4th years and above, and everyone will wear dress robes. And then Minerva says, this is a chance to let our hair down, to which Lavender giggles because Minerva always wears her hair in a very tight bun. I'm sorry, could we have not been given a luscious Minerva, I'm
moment?
Talking waves, luscious waves, or half up, half down do. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Butterfly clips. Anything.
Yes. Or a little bit of teasing in the back. Just very.
A bump it.
No, I'm not a bump it. She is not a bump it girl. Minerva is not a bump it girl. That's very.
Wouldn't it have
2000s.
been funnier if the Yule Ball was only for 5th years and above, but Harry was given special permission because he was.
Oh,
And then
I thought about this.
Hermione got asked by Crumb, and then Ron didn't go. She could have drawn out the anger.
But then Ron couldn't glare at Hermione, and then they couldn't have this very awkward moment between them, blah, 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 whatever. I did think that was a little weird, though. I was 4th years and above? That feels a little too Harry has to. Well, I guess maybe not. We would have been 14 when we went to Midwinter. right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's the Yule Ball, so it literally is midwinter.
Mm-hmm. It's on Christmas.
Yeah.
So everybody has to
Wild.
stay home. If they want to go to Yule Ball, they have to stay home from...
They have to stay at Hogwarts.
Or
rather
they
than
have to
going
stay at
home.
Hogwarts, I mean.
Yeah, to be with their families. Or they
so
can't
I guess
be
if
with
you're
their...
first, second, or third year, at least you're like, well...
I'm going home,
I'll
to
go
be with
home
my
then.
mummy and daddy anyway. Yeah, I was like...
And get a little choo-choo train under the Christmas tree.
what's the candy? I want my wine gums. That's the
What?
candy Michael always like, oh, wine gums.
Isn't there like
And my
candy where you like
Cadbury
open
egg.
it
This is a terrible English accent.
and like something comes out? Yeah, it's... You
A
hear it every
Cadbury-
day, so you should have a good one.
A Cadbury egg.
That's better.
That's better.
What do I watch?
Cadbury egg.
I watch too much The Only Way is Essex. And they're very like Cockney. So that's what's in my head.
Essex.
And they say like they'll say like think instead of think. Think, I think.
Yeah, think.
I thought.
Oh, I think.
And stuff like
I
that.
thought
I'm like, oh.
Something, F-I-N-G.
Something, yeah. Mm-hmm. I like it though. I like their accents. So then Minerva dismisses the class and then proceeds to tell Harry that not only is he expected to attend the Yule Ball as a champion, he has to open the Yule Ball by dancing with his partner. So not only is it just
he's the opening act.
Right. There's pressure to not only find a date, but like he has to find a date so that he can then dance with said date in front of everyone. Mm-hmm. Now, for extroverts like Adam and myself, can you imagine? Adam and I would have been like, it's our time. Like doing like laps around everyone.
I mean, I had a very different experience going to high school dances because my pool was so limited in who I could romantically invite that it just never occurred to me to like have a concern. Like I was always like, well, I'll just go with a friend.
Or
but I
if
guess
you did
for straight people.
Yeah, but that's actually, I was thinking about that a while back that I was like, you went with Mary and I went with John. And like, that was dumb. Like, why didn't you and John just go together? Why? Do you know what I mean? That was weird.
I'm trying to remember if we could or if that year we couldn't.
What do you mean? That was a rule at our school? That like, there couldn't be
I guess it couldn't have been because I think people
girls
could go as friends. Like girls, because
girls went.
But I do remember
all the time.
couples tickets were cheaper than if you bought two separate tickets, which I always was like,
oh,
why?
Yeah, rude.
For what?
And for what? Stop trying to have us all married off and impregnated.
Yeah,
God.
at 18. God.
Yeah.
Indiana.
So Harry is not very happy about Harry's not very happy about the fact that he is the opening act for the Yule Ball.
Right.
And because like Harry is not
cool.
Artistic. Just like he wasn't in show choir. He was never in like a tabernacle choir even. Like he doesn't do anything.
He was never a Mormon, very famously.
Mormon tabernacle choir.
Yeah.
So now Harry has to find a girl to ask to the dance. So of course he thinks first of Cho.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to get into the Cho conversation now?
I mean, it's just like a bummer. It's a bummer name.
Yeah,
right?
like
that's pretty much all it is. It's just like there's no nuance to that name whatsoever.
There had to have been at least like 5 other names that you could have easily found than Cho or Chang.
It's both. It's the fact that it's both and where it's like enough. This is a lot, and we know Joe loves her alliteration and the way words sound together.
Yeah, but she does like that.
We are mere millimeters away from Ching Chong. I'm just saying
exactly.
That's just how close we are, and it's very annoying. That being said, I like Cho Chang as a character.
Yeah, I do too. And I like that she, in the next book, I like that she kind of keeps Harry on his toes. Even though the narrator makes it sound like we shouldn't be on her side. I'm like, no, you tell him, girl. You go.
Yeah. I also like that at least Harry, the first person he likes, does not like him back. Because he already gets a lot of things. So at least
in this book. Okay, yeah. She likes him back later. After.
Yeah, and does she really? You know what I mean? I think she's just traumatized. I don't know if she likes Harry.
No, I would say her reaction in this book when he asks her, I think that Harry was kind of like the boy she had a little crush on like for a while, but then when Cedric asked her, she was like, oh. This is like if I had a crush on Yoon Jung-an for a long time, but then Chol asked me to the dance and I would be like,
oh my God.
yeah. I wouldn't be like, no. I'd be like, you're S-Coops, leader of 17. Yes, I'm going to say yes to you. And then Yoon Jung-an's like, will you go to the dance with me? And I'm like, oh shit. Well, damn. I already said yes to Sung Chol. Anyway.
I'm going to have to put in pictures so that everyone can follow along with what just happened.
Okay, great. So Harry tells Ron, and then Ron's like, well, you probably won't have that much trouble finding a date because you're a champion and you just like defeated a dragon. And Harry's kind of skeptical, but sure enough, the next day, a Hufflepuff girl who Harry doesn't even know is like, you want to be my date to the ball? And he just tells her no without really thinking it through because he just like doesn't know her and was so surprised. And then 2 more girls ask him the next day, a 2nd year and a 5th year. And then do you know what I'm going to say?
I'm obsessed with the 2nd year, to be honest. I love a 2nd year shooting her little shot, her little 12-year-old shot. Harry Potter.
And going to a dance with like 17-year-olds? I'm sorry.
Listen, no, I have to stand.
I know. No, I'm into it too, but I'm just like, okay, this is like, all right, girl. I mean, go for it.
Yeah.
And then I don't like this moment because what's the term for this?
Stupid.
Heightism. Heightism. He's like, she was taller than me. Women can be taller than men.
And let women be tall. Continue to be in some instances.
Let women be tall. I'm saying this is a 5'3" person.
I know. Let women exist.
Let women be whatever. Height. Yes, their height, their weight. Let them be.
And she's pretty.
Yeah, and she's pretty, which I don't like. I don't like Ron in this chapter.
No, it's not great. It's Ron actually really annoying. One of my notes is, oh, Ron.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. But overall, not everything is, all rain clouds for Harry. I guess everyone's being much nicer to him because he suspects that Cedric told the Hufflepuffs to back off. I don't know why everyone else is being nicer to him, but everyone is just probably because he defeated a dragon.
Sure. He says this thing where he's like, I think they're only asking me because I'm just the Hogwarts champion. That's the only reason they like me. And I'm like, you're Harry Potter. I don't know how to make this more fucking clear to you. You are Harry Potter. Everyone in the wizarding world knows your name.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Why are you doing this?
I
Stop
mean,
this inner saboteur.
Technically, Ginny, who he later marries,
Spoiler
was
alert.
enamored with him because he was the Harry Potter. So,
Yeah.
Harry, it's just the way it is.
Who kind of has a reaction later in this chapter, but we'll get to it.
So Rita basically, they go to Hagrid's. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are off to Hagrid's, and Hagrid reveals that Rita just wanted Hagrid to just like dish out the dirt on Harry, to which he was like, what?
Sorry, to be clear, they're going to Hagrid's for care magical creatures, but it is written like they're just like hanging out at Hagrid.
No, I think they are just hanging out, aren't they?
No, they're deciding what foods they have to like throw to the fucking Scroots because they can't go buy them anymore.
Where's the rest of the class?
Girl,
literally,
you got me, girl. They're just chit chatting, shooting the breeze.
This literally sounds like it was just. Did I miss this? Wait. Oh yeah, you're right. During Harry, Ron, and Hermione asked him how his interview with Rita Skeeter had gone during the last Care of Magical Creatures lesson of the term. Yeah, you're right. But like, there's literally no mention of any other students. It's just Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Oh my God.
And they're sitting at a table with like they're just like hanging out. They're just at a picnic table together.
Where
I think
is
it's just outside.
Else? What are they doing? This is so weird. Anyway, no idea.
There's also a line in this scene where Hagrid says, "Well, you might have bent a few rules, Harry, but you're all right, aren't you?" And then Harry responds, smiling, and he's like, "Cheers, Hagrid." And I know that as a child, I was like, they're drinking? Like, because I didn't understand the British, like, say cheers as a thank you. So I was like, and they're also drinking water. Great.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I
still have questions sometimes about the butterbeer. Like, I'm like, because you can drink much younger in the UK. So I'm always like, is there a little something in there?
Is it something, or is it just affects? Well, we'll find out who it affects later in this book.
That's true. We're not there yet, are we?
Stay tuned.
So after the 1-on-1 or 1-on-3 lesson of Care of Magical Creatures that Harry, Ron, and Hermione have with Hagrid, that is so weird. There's literally no mention of any other student. There are apparently a bunch of rumors flying around about the ball, to which Harry's like, I don't think, the narrator or Harry, either, whoever it is like, well, those aren't true, except for the fact that Dumbledore was able to book the Weird Sisters. Did you not think the Weird Sisters was a band of female rock stars? The Weird Sisters? It's apparently men.
Where does it say that?
I found that out later somehow, that it was like maybe just because of the fourth movie that they made them men. Maybe in this book they are women. I know. I was like, don't do that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when we get to the Yule Ball in like the next chapter.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
stay tuned.
I'm pretty sure they're men.
Can you explain something to me literally right now?
I'll try my best.
What the fuck is the Wizarding Wireless Network?
A radio show?
How is it a radio show? They don't use radios.
Molly Weasley has that little wireless thing, remember?
But what? No. No, I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
I don't have an answer for you.
She's so like, they don't use,
no technology.
They go to a castle in which they use candles. Literally candles to see.
Parchment.
And but they have the fucking radio.
They don't utilize the Flu Network. And they have a radio.
No.
And they have to deliver mail by post. When they have a radio.
I hate this.
Owl Post, yeah.
I hate this. I know it's just a throwaway, whatever. This is the equivalent for wizards, blah, 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 blah. And isn't it funny that it's called the Wizard WWN? Ha, 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 ha. Fine. I just hate it.
You can't do something like that and then just like never come back to it again. But also with everything else we know about the wizarding world thus far, you can't just be like, and by the way,
it doesn't check out. Yeah, they've literally ignored every single Muggle invention ever, except for the radio, which we all partake in and enjoy because we had to listen to FDR's fireside chats in the 40s. Like, what the fuck,
girl?
I'm so mad.
I'm still not over the fact that like Karkaroff just has rotting teeth in his mouth. Like,
there's no dentistry.
No,
that's not a wizarding thing. That's just an English thing.
Whiteninium, like that has to be a very quick spell you have to do.
Colgadia.
Yeah. Crestify. Like there has to be a spell.
Arm and hammer me.
What's one of the healthy ones? Tom's.
Yo, yeah. Tom's. No suffix on that. Just Tom's.
Oh my god. Oh. What's happening? Tom's. I was like, what? It was like that or hello is the other one. So, oh my gosh. Oh my god. We haven't even talked about the episode we just released where I start screaming about the permission slip.
Listerinium.
Quietus. Oh yes, it's still looking good. You get like as close.
One's cracked.
Oh, I was like, show them like get as close as you can to the camera so they can see the detail. See how it's shimmery, listeners or viewers. This is YouTube.
Listeners, can you see? Can you see, listeners? Listeners, look,
listeners, it's right there. Yeah, I will never let that go. That he's just walking around with rotting teeth. I hate him. I hate it. I don't like it. I do still get a little kick out of the fact that Hermione, in my mind, Hermione did write a letter to her parents that night and was like,
100%.
Mom and Dad, you won't believe the nasty ass teeth.
I want to believe that the wizarding world would just create a scenario in which like almost like how people just go to South Korea to get like cheap like plastic surgery done because like it's actually affordable, or like just any kind of procedure done over there. I just feel like the wizarding world would be also just doing that because that's human nature to want to like improve the qualities about you that you like dislike or whatever. And if you have magic and we can clearly just shrink teeth with a spell.
Yeah.
That's not where it's stopping. It's not, that's the only dental spell known to the wizarding world. No, I don't believe it.
Yeah, like especially with the fact that there's love potions in this world. Sorry.
Say that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Toms. Toms.
Stupid.
So, getting back to the chapter, I love that
getting back to the chapter.
I love that Phileas just fully lets them play games in class. He's
great.
Phileas is like, listen, I have to decorate this castle from top to bottom in 48 hours. Less, even. So you guys play your little games, and I will be going to hang this tinsel. I'll be back in 45 minutes. You know that he is like, I have a note about this in this chapter too. And I was like, yeah, because he is stressed with decorating this castle.
I think Charms would be my favorite class. I'm not kidding when I say that. I think Charms would be my favorite class.
Charms would be my favorite class unless Professor Grubbly Plank was teaching Care of Magical Creatures. And then that would be my favorite class. But probably Charms. Yeah. I also think, well, no. I really like Minerva McGonagall, but what is transfiguration? Why do we need it? What is the reasoning why we need to change like a porcupine into a pincushion or a hedgehog into a pincushion?
It's the math of no, not even math. What's like a subject you have to take in school and then you literally never think about it again? Because I guess
might be
math
terrible
has
to say, but
basic
physics class, I never. All of the things I learned in that class, I never utilized any of that ever again.
Why do I know the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell? For what?
There's a lot of like, biology, physics, stuff like that, where I'm like, of course, you have to learn certain things. Like, I'm not saying biology and physics are important, but I just am like, I've never.
No.
I mean, maybe it's. I don't know. If you went into a biology major, then I understand. But
I guess excuse
me. I was a TA for biology of birds, and I was a musical theater major. So
our own ornithologist, yeah.
Like it's more about just what aligns with your interests, I guess, in the end. Like, which is why I don't know. There's our schooling system could just do things in a much better way. I think that would serve the students a bit better. But
yeah.
No one in Indiana public schools is going to listen to me.
They're definitely not listening to this podcast.
They definitely are not. So yeah, I loved that. I loved that Phileas is just like, go ahead, play your games. But he's pretty much the only teacher that does that. Of course, I loved that they said Snape would sooner let them play games than adopt Harry. Just like picture like a portrait of like Snape with like his hand on Harry's shoulder and them both looking miserable. And I was like, I liked that idea. Yeah. Oh God, now this is reminding me of your Barty Crouch face last week. I watched that part so many times. It's so funny. Say, wait, what is he doing right now? Adam, what is Barty Crouch doing?
Is he still at the school?
No, like, where is he? There's like a whole week. What is he doing? He doesn't come to the Yule Ball either. Adam, he is totally just like, sorry.
He's just in the woods. That's the craziest part. He's just in the woods. Like,
does he just like go like to the bathroom and then like just sit in a chair and then just like eat maybe a little something?
I think he just like relieves on himself. Like, I think he's just like,
oh no,
it's really not good.
Yeah,
it's not a good situation.
I have a lot of questions about this that will never be answered because none of them will. So after their classes, it's revealed that Harry has not gotten any further with the egg. And Hermione is very annoyed by this. And then I made a note. Hermione should have been champion. Give me Hermione Granger in the Goblet of Fire. This girl would have wiped the floor with everyone. This girl knows how to prepare for a task. This girl knows not to procrastinate. And yeah, it's I would imagine for her, it's very uncomfortable and like frustrating to just watch Harry being like, I'm going to play with my Haddock wand in Transfiguration.
Oh, girl, it's worse. The line in the chapter is, he was rereading Flying with the Cannons for the 10th time. And I had to stop and be like, Harry Potter and I would not be friends. I want to make that very clear right now. I would be so annoyed with Harry Potter if I was in the same house as him. Luckily, I wouldn't be, because I'd be in Hufflepuff.
Yeah, we'd be in Hufflepuff, and we'd be like, Adam and I would fully be in love with Cedric Diggory.
Team Cedric. Team Cedric, not even funny.
And you would also be Team Crumb, as we know.
And I'd be Team Draco.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because gay spot's gay.
Gay spot's gay, right. So yeah, Hermione for champion, please. So then briefly, excuse me. After that, Fred asks if he can use Pidgewiggin to send a letter. Yeah, here's the G plot.
Yeah.
The XYZ plot.
God, so stupid.
What the heck?
That's what Barty Crouch is doing. He's just.
I don't know what happened. Okay. You literally did that like 10 times.
Okay.
Blub, 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 blub. Blub, 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 blub. Blub, blub, blub.
I was giving you a chance to water.
Take it in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. See, listeners, Adam was actually doing a bit to stall for me. So
fill time.
Yeah, to fill the exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam. So Ron says no, because Pidgewiggin is off on a very important quest to find Sirius. And then they're like, oh, who are you going to the ball with? And they're like, we don't have anyone yet. And they're like, who are you going with? And Fred's like, Angelina. And they're like, oh, are you sure? Or like, really? And he's like, yeah. Hey, Angelina, do you want to go to the ball with me? And she's like, okay. And then Fred's like, there you go. So then they're like, okay, well, they're like, okay, we got to figure it out. Then Ron starts saying some really,
this is when I wrote, oh, Ron.
Yeah, where do I even start? It's very so objectifying. Bad. It's very shallow. Very, very sexist. It's gross. And in a way, I'm like, this is unfortunately the truth. Like, I have learned this is unfortunately the truth of a lot of men. Like, they'll be very nice to you if they have something they can gain from you, or if they do think you're good looking. But if they don't see either of those things in you, then there's no reason for them to like see any value in you. I'm saying this like very lightheartedly, but like it's terrible. Like the fact that this is like the reality of how many men. There's so many men in the world that think this way. And it's so upsetting as a woman when like you think you have a friend and then they reveal themselves to be this way to you. Cause you're like, oh God.
And this is what Hermione is going through in this
Yes,
chapter.
and so this is what Hermione is seeing in this moment with Ron, and we don't know if her and Ron have had feelings for each other before this moment.
They were making out when they were alone at the when they don't look at me like that. We decided canonically on this podcast.
Who is we? You and Friedrich.
That in book 3, when Harry has not yet joined up with them in not Hogsmeade, that they're definitely like not
don't
making
get me
out,
on the Hogsmeade rant again.
They're like,
you look good today,
but not making out. We thought maybe they like awkwardly like almost held hands or something. So
yeah.
Although in the book they were talking about Harry's dumbass, which I really didn't like because I was like, no. Let them just have a moment that is not about Harry.
Yeah. Huge side character syndrome on these side characters.
But I am proud of Hermione because she does call Ron out. I don't think that he really hears her, which is a whole other issue. Mm-hmm. But she's 100% right. And as always, we're on Hermione's side. So then the boys basically are just kind of like, well, we got to figure it out. We got to like, find dates. We'll figure it out. So then I'm saying Phileas. Flitwick is the one that decorates the castle. This is our canon. Phileas has outdone himself with the Christmas decor. I'm telling you, he was stressed. He has gone above and beyond. The castle, Hogwarts Castle is, she is fully illuminated, fully on display. What are like the Christmas expressions?
Miss Hogwarts stepped into the diamond life because she is glittering, she is bejeweled, she is
shiny
bedazzled.
Diamond, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm the diamond, said Hogwarts Castle.
said Hogwarts. She's giving silver and gold. She's giving
silver and gold. Yes, thank you. Silver and gold.
She's giving garland. She's giving
wreaths of plenty.
Holidays with a Z-E.
Holidays. Yes, thank you. All the stockings are hung on the chimney with care. It's all done. Mm-hmm. It's all there. And then there was talk of the suits of armor singing, "Oh, come all ye faithful." So they are religious. So
I clocked that too. I was like,
yeah.
So we're Church of England?
Jesus H. Christ, the first wizard.
The first wizard.
Transfiguration
professor. He turned that water into wine.
Yes.
Loaves into fishes. Exactly. No, I guess the loaves didn't turn into fishes. He just multiplied them.
The loaves did not
turn those loaves right into fishes.
A loaf into a fish.
This bit right now, this Jesus comedy bit is killing my mother. She is cackling away.
She likes the Jesus bits. This one's for you, Nan. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they're religious though. I was like, not like Jingle Bells. Just the fact that that was the song she chose.
Yeah.
Oh, come, all ye faithful. That is like, first off, that's not like the best song. I would have been much more happy with like Good King Wenceslas. That feels more like wizardy to me.
Or I mean? The absolute slay and bop of the holiday time, which is Gloria
in excelsis Deo. So anyways, the castle is bedecked, and then Ron, before Ron and Harry go their separate ways for the day, Ron makes Harry
and this is bedonked.
Oh no. I can't wait to go back and watch you thinking of that.
It's coming.
Well, because it was like a whole sentence later, and then
sentence later.
and this is badonked.
And here's a joke.
That's why every time I listen to the whatever episode it is where we did the bit about just like Hogsmeade gossip, it's so funny to me because we've literally been talking for like, I think it might be 10 minutes. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but like we've been talking about something else for like 5 to 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden you're like, Aberforth is having an affair with Madame Rosemartin. I still think that's the best bit we've ever done on the pod. It has to be the best one.
Listeners, it peaked.
Adam, that's was you. That was all Adam. We went on. It started with the idea of just like, she just yelled, like, if no one's there to witness her predictions, are they real predictions? Yeah. And then it went into join my MLM.
She was de moi.
Oh my God. So good. I still love the fact that she literally thinks that she fell asleep and then he also just was like so stupid.
So dumb.
So Harry and Ron promise each other that they will have dates by the end of the day. So Harry still has to, she's not by herself. He has to like ask her if he can like talk to her for a moment because she's always surrounded by girls because she's very popular. So,
and also it's scary to be a woman out on these streets.
Yeah, that's why they're traveling in packs, Harry.
Yeah.
Your ignorance is showing.
Yeah.
So Harry asks Cho, and he doesn't really get the right words out. He's like, "Do you want to go ball with me?" So once again, this mute little boy. It's always coming back to the mute little boy. And Cho looks like very uncomfortable.
Stricken.
Yeah,
right.
She's like, oh gosh. I actually already said I'd go with someone else. And then he's like, oh, okay, great. And then this is what they do. Oh, okay, great. Well, yeah. She's like, just like stand there.
Who are you going with?
Yeah. And then he's like, who are you going with? She goes, oh, Cedric. Just a little boy. Have you met him? Sorry, not a little boy. A man. You might know. Cedric Diggory. So alas, Cho and Harry will not be going to the ball together, but Cho's going with Cedric. So you go, girl. You go.
Get you some.
Yeah, get you some. I hope her and Cedric made out that night too. Good for her.
At least, girl.
At least. Good for her. And then when Harry gets back into the common room, it's revealed that Ron asked Fleur.
Yes.
First off, Ron.
I forgot this happened.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's very funny.
Wait. I have something to say before we get back to the common room.
Okay.
It is a week before the ball, right? That's what we're assuming. It's either a week or 2 weeks before the ball.
Yeah. Probably a week.
Classes started on September 1st.
Mm-hmm.
The Gryffindor password changed yesterday for the first time from Balderdash to Fairy Lights.
Wasn't there one more before that in this chapter?
No, it's only been Balderdash and Fairy Lights.
Balderdash, Fairy Lights. You know, because Sirius Black isn't skulking around anymore, they just really the security's become very lax.
They think he's still skulking around. This is what I'm saying. They think he's still out there. It's so crazy to me. It's so bonkers.
But they don't think that he's around Hogwarts anymore.
I guess, but why do they not think he's around Hogwarts anymore?
Girl,
that's never explained either. They're so convinced he's gonna come kill Harry, and then he's still out there, so they think he's not going to kill Harry.
I don't know.
Make it make sense, Joe.
Make it make sense. Because he flew away on Buckbeak. So no one knows that though. Like, where did he go? So the fact that Ron asked Fleur and she looked at him like he was some scum. Good job, Fleur.
Because this chapter, that's what he's acted like.
Yes, he is. He's acted like scum this whole chapter. And there's no way. And then Harry tries to excuse it by being like, oh, she probably turned on the charm and you just got a blast of it. And I was like, no, I don't believe that. I was like, I'm sure that he just in his mind was like, I want to ask.
Harry's, he really knows Vila now. He really understands the lore of Vila at this point.
So dumb. So then Ginny is like there comforting Ron. And then Ron mentions that Neville actually asked Hermione to go with him. And he's like making fun of Neville. And he was like, he said, yeah. Are you going to say the same thing?
This is the point at which I wrote, this whole chapter sucks. Because everyone is being so mean to everyone. I hate it so much.
Also, the fact that Neville said, that's the right way to say why you want to go to the ball with someone. Neville asked Hermione because she's always been really nice to him. That sounds like a much better reason than, well, I just want to go looking with a girl. I want to go with a good looking girl. What?
Ron, you just asked Fleur Delacour and she didn't even bother to give you a no. You ran away. Fuck
she literally
off,
was
Ron
like,
Weasley.
Neville is asking in the correct way. He's asking like someone that actually sees some value in Hermione as a person. So Ron, kindly fuck off. You're lucky that someone even gets like someone that Harry finds you someone to go with. Like Ron really does not deserve a date to this dance. He should have gone alone. He deserved to go alone. So Ron and Harry are like laughing about Neville. And Ginny's like, stop laughing, because it's revealed that she is going with Neville because she didn't think anyone would ask her. But before that's revealed, Hermione comes in and Ginny's like, they still don't have dates to the ball. And Hermione's like, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't have been such a objectifying
around for the
asshole.
past, like, 3 weeks.
And like saying shit about like fucking Eloise Midgen, whoever this girl is that they're always so mean about, like this poor girl. Which I don't like that. She like basically made a character for the boys to like shit on.
So
I don't like that. We didn't need that. Thank you. And then Ron gives Hermione and Ginny some shit, like just kind of being like with Hermione, he's like, hey, you're a girl. And she's like, oh, well spotted. And he's like, well, come with one of us. And she's like, I'm already going with someone. And he's like, haha, very funny. And she's like, I'm not joking. And then he's like, well, go with one of us. And then she's like, I'm already going with someone, and then leaves, as she should. And then Ron's like, she's making that up. To which Ginny says, no, she's not. She is not, because she's definitely going with someone. And then Ron's like, well,
I want to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
For a real quick minute. I think the devil doesn't have enough advocates, so I'm going to speak for her. Miss her.
Listeners, that's sarcasm in case you didn't detect it.
Is it? I'm, again, completely on Hermione's side. I want to start that off by saying that. Is there a little bit of like Hermione should have said, because I don't think it happened that day that Victor asked her. So do we think that
it must
like
have happened before?
Yeah. So do we think like it's a little bit like, why is Hermione hiding this? Because of the reaction they would have had, but also like they're your best friend. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get mad that they don't believe you because you haven't even told them that you're going with someone.
It's just, I mean, honestly, unfortunately, the answer is just JK wanted the reveal moment.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason.
The ugly duck into beautiful swan.
Swan. Yeah, exactly. But no, I think also the fact that like Ron isn't helping himself, I believe it. I believe that she doesn't want to tell Ron when he's acting that way.
100%. And he's always going to act that way.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Even when they're married.
Yeah, well, this is like kind of the argument that like people have said before where they're like, I don't think that like Hermione and Ron should have ended up together in the end, which like, I'm not going to go that far. I would hope that like being with someone like Hermione, Ron would be like, oh, that's a very backwards way of thinking. And like, I was wrong for thinking that. And I don't think that anymore.
Yeah. And just generally being an adult. Can I show you this Gorgina picture of Ginny Weasley? This absolute slay of a headshot.
Yes.
This is my favorite thing I've ever found in these like illustrated copies.
Wow, Ginny.
It's giving everything I want.
Yeah, she looks beautiful.
She looks so good. I love
like the detail in the eye. The detail in the eyes.
The eyes,
like
the
freckles, reflection. Yeah.
The like highlight on the face. Slay.
Ginny. Work, Ginny.
This picture is giving more than Bonnie Wright ever gave in a movie.
Oh, God. I mean, you're not wrong. I just like don't want to say anything.
I know.
Oh, gosh. So speaking of Ginny, Hermione leaves and then Ron says, well, Ginny, you can go with Harry and I'll figure something out. And then Ginny's very upset and says that she can't go with Harry because she said yes to going with Neville. And I did feel very bad for Ginny in this moment because this is still when she has a pretty big crush on Harry. I think she's like calmed down a bit about it, but she definitely still likes him.
Of course.
And so then she's very disappointed because she could have gone with the Harry Potter, but she's going to go with Neville now. And then right at that moment, Harry sees Parvati and Lavender come into the common room. And he asks
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
And he asks Parvati if she would like to go with him, to which there's a bunch of giggling, which he's kind of annoyed about. And then she's like, yeah, okay. And then he asks if Lavender will go with Ron. And then I loved this. She was like, she's going with Seamus. Like, that's how I pictured it. And then Harry's like, do you know anyone that would go with Ron? And Parvati's like, well, I can ask Padma, my twin. She might be interested. And then Harry's like, okay, yeah. And that's pretty much the chapter.
And then it ends with this like callback to the fact that one of the girls that asked Harry out at the beginning had like a crooked nose or something like that. And so it goes back.
Oh, no, Ron. Ron said about Eloise Midgen that her nose was off center.
Yeah. So then when he goes back, he's like, he went back to Ron hoping that Padma's nose was not off center.
Yeah.
Harry, let me explain to you how identical twins work. They look the same. So if Parvati doesn't have an off-center nose, Padma's not going to have an off-center nose. Unless she's a huge rugby player and she's broken it multiple times. Then maybe.
Unless she was on Heartstopper on the rugby team.
On the rugby team. Unless she was in Enhypen on the rugby team. Here's a picture of Enhypen.
Na.
Okay. Well, that's it.
So I would just like to end this by saying, Ron, fuck off. No one's described you as especially good looking.
ever.
So the fact that you're like making these
never.
demands, that you're making these demands of like going with the best looking girl you can get, like, ew.
This is also most offensive because this is the movie too where he looks the way he does.
Where they
with that
all
long ass hair. Yes.
They all have the terrible long hair. Oh no.
The only people that look good are Hermione Granger, Fleur Delacour,
Cedric,
Katie,
who plays Cho.
Yeah, Cho
She looks
Chang.
beautiful.
And obviously Victor Crumb. Which we all know and agree.
Jury's still out on that. Agree to disagree.
I can only think of that moment when they're in the maze.
That's the energy.
And he's like,
oh, it's so scary. Yeah. Yeah, he's not for me. Cedric
scary.
Looks great, though.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Pattinson, he can get it. Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks. Sorry. Good job. Next week, we'll be reading chapter 23 called The Yule Ball.
I wonder what that could be about.
We have no review this week, so.
Oh.
Okay. I'm getting a little tired of that repetition.
Okay.
You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your podcasts, as well as video versions on the Ampliverse YouTube channel and on Spotify. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so they can get a perfect Newt score. 5 stars only, or else you'll also get turned down by Cho Chang.
Oh.
Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at HB Anxious, Instagram at HB Anxious, and YouTube at The Ampliverse. We are hosted on Anchor, and we are recorded on Zencastr, so we'd like to thank the both of them. And we are, as always, a proud member of The Ampliverse, especially as we head into this Pride season. Oh, it will be Pride. It will be Pride month.
Yeah.
Happy Pride to The Ampliverse. Check them out at The Ampliverse. Thank you, Arri.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Arri. That's what my script says.
Thank you, Adama.
And as always...
No. Absolutely not.
Tom! Pulgadia!